Thank you for watching today. This is Kinnear. Welcome to another Starfield video. In the Shattered Space DLC on Varun Kai, while completing the Tomb of the Fang, we find a slate that leads us to Misthaze Cavern. It's a POI featured prominently in the Shattered Space promotional videos, and for reasons unknown, it's full of wooden geese. We'll walk through the site and find them all, so let's get started. So we have this activity quest, proceed to Misthaze Cavern. As a result of finding this note in the Kappa site, which is a spacer stronghold as part of the Tomb of the Fang quest. You can find this location just by wandering around the map. It is on the east side of the city of Dazra. It won't be marked originally.
Wonder if there's anything tougher than us.
But this is one way to find it. The enemies in here aren't terribly difficult, but there are a couple different types, and there's one mini-boss along the way. Fortunately, you can take each room and clear it one at a time. There's nothing in the first room we need to worry about. I will use Star Sense so that we can see what's up ahead, since this is a guide. And I will loot pretty much whatever I find.
3 months. 3 months we've been digging. Still nothing.
Oh, you didn't know? They might have found something. Could be it.
Well, then what the hell are we still doing here?
Boss wants...
I'm going to switch to a suppressed weapon.
Besides, from what I hear...
This is more than enough, and I have a ton of ammo.
Why? What'd you hear?
Screaming.
I'm playing a level 153 Starborn, so the enemies are leveled up into the 80s. And 100 at some point. There are a lot of Bone Crest in here, as well as Spacers. The water is not toxic. And in numerous locations, you will see these walls, often with red explosive canisters next to them. You can shoot them out, or you can use a cutter on them. Some of them have slates, some of them have wooden geese. This one is just a slate, the body.
Hell do you do that anyway?
Slate. This one's just text. Essentially, the slates just tell you the story of the spacers that are here looking for treasure. I do like a sniper style of play, so I will probably try to take out most of the spacers in here at a distance, and then hunt through the rooms for loot and wooden geese. I will switch to a sniper rifle if I can't hit these guys with this Beowulf. I think he's out of reach, or he's behind that. Oh, I hit him. There are several more up ahead. Grab a little loot. There is an elevated path on the left-hand side of this cavern. I will take that in just a moment. After I try to clear these guys out at a distance. Anybody I can't reach from here, we'll just come around and get them from the side. I think he has complete cover back there. Even though I can see him, I can't shoot through whatever's in front of him. So this path to the side leads to a hidden room with another breakable wall. There's a little bit of loot in here and a lockbox. That wall that I just broke just leads back out in the main cavern. Small legendary pistol. We'll just add that to the collection. Yeah, we still have 3 of them here. And the room should be clear now. I will loot everything here. We are doubling back to the entrance of this room. Just below the entrance, down on the bottom level, you'll find a breakable wall. And we will find NACK, our first wooden goose. Many of the geese are surrounded by cred sticks. And sometimes there's some other miscellaneous loot or slates on the floor. I don't think there's anything else in this room. Can't seem to grab that one, so we're just going to move on. So once again, we're heading further into the cavern. This is the original path we were heading forward on. Go past the yellow barriers, checking for loot. More miscellaneous slates. I'll just grab all this to sell later. Occasionally you get a nice weapon. I always like the ammo. And we'll notice here there is a body of water and there's a crate you can see at the edge. So we're going to jump in and swim over. And there's a wooden goose. It's Jack. We have 2 of 8. Crate is empty. We'll jump out and head over to the ramp. First, a little more ammunition. There's another breakable wall to the left of this ramp, so before we go up, let's just shoot that, get it out of the way. And we've found OUACK. That is an O in front of it. OUACK. which is different than QUACK, which we will find later. They look very similar and sometimes are difficult to differentiate when you're reading them on the screens. And we'll head to the next room. I'm just going to check my inventory and look at the geese that we have so far. Jack, Knack, and Whack. We have 3 of 8 geese. Next room has quite a bit of activity. There are a few spacers, but there are a lot of the bone crest in here. Now, the bone crest and the spacers are fighting. Bone crest will probably kill all the spacers for you. But you can take some of them out at a distance, so I like to do that when I can reach them. If you wait here on this first platform, he will run up to us. You can actually lure some of the bone crest up here too, and you can shoot them pretty easily. They do have a ranged attack, and they will do damage to you, so be aware of that. Often the last 1 or 2 are out of reach or behind a barrier, so I will have to go over. Let's see if I can shake him out with a grenade. I don't think I can reach. I don't get to use grenades enough, so sometimes I just lob them for fun. Sometimes if I can get close enough, I can shake an enemy out and get him to move. Otherwise, I'm just accumulating him. Yeah, he's behind a barrier. Let's try another grenade. Definitely noticed the grenade. I don't know how these creatures are supposed to understand what a grenade is, but he's out in the open now and we've got him. There's one more over here hiding down near the water. Very nice. I'll grab a little more loot off the bodies and move on to the next room. May have another body or 2 over on this ramp, so before we go too far, there's a safe and another slate. Basically just the spacers cutting holes in the walls. Nothing spectacular, but if you've got the time and the digipix, there's one of the first spacers that died. It's a spacer on the stairs. Nothing spectacular. And there's another breakable wall over that edge. Wooden goose. this doesn't actually remove these rocks. They will just disappear on their own with a little bit of time. This is KACK. K-A-C-K. We have 4 of 8. You can use a cutter to break the walls down in the first place, but you do not have to cut the stones down to make them go away. They will just do that after a little bit of time. Another excavator note. Loot. Next room does not have spacers in it, but it has cavern bone crest. There are quite a few of them in here. If you rush right out in the middle, you will probably be hit with multiple ranged attacks, so if you can take any of them out at a distance, it can be helpful. Quick and easy. I did not pick up any afflictions. Excellent. So this is a small cavern. There's a little bit of loot here in the center. Nice enough inflictor. I prefer a long fang at this point, if you can find one. And right behind you, as you're going through, you can double back, and there is a breakable wall. Again, that has no effect. Bone crest drops down from the ceiling in here. An easy kill. Cred sticks on the floor, and an ecliptic body. It's interesting to see ecliptic in here. I do sometimes try to pick these guys up and throw them off to the side to see if there's anything underneath, but sometimes they're trapped. That bone crest is trapped. This next room is the one that's featured in the Shattered Space promotional materials. There is a large bone crest in here fighting with the spacers. Again, they should or could kill all the spacers within a reasonable amount of time. Or you can go ahead and get in the middle of their fight, or stand off at a distance and start taking them out here from here. They will eventually come to you, including the spacer. And that includes the level 120 Bone Crest Queen. Will do some damage, but doesn't appear to be able to come into this cavern after you. So if you don't want to rush out there and fight her up on the platform, you can just sit in here and take her out from a distance. I did switch to my long fang with an incendiary mod on it to finish her off because its DPS output is very nice. Still a spacer up here fighting a single bone crest. And the room should be clear now. Now you do want to loot the queen because she has Mrs. Goose's key, which is going to be important for opening a chest soon. I loot everything else just because it's here, and I like free adhesive. It's a material that seems to come up all the time, so. Now there are some stone structures in the middle of this platform and a tree up top. We're going to want to jump up there in just a second. After we clear the bodies. I'm going to jump on this rock to the side because it's a little easier to get to. Then I'm going to jump back, although with the right boost pack, you could probably jump straight up here. One of the first spacers we took out when we got to this room. And here's a chest. And since we have the key, we can open it up. And there is a wooden goose in there, and this one is QUACK. QUACK, QUACK. If you look to the side, you can walk over to the edge of this stone pathway, and there's another goose up top. MACK. We now have 6 of 8. There are 2 more geese in this room that will round out our collection. I like to go back to the chest and then turn right and look over the edge. You'll see a very bright blue colored rock or growth down here. There's a path that leads into the water. Go to the right and we find NACK, the 7th goose. Now if we continue on around to the right, we will find a waterfall. We will walk behind the waterfall. And there'll be another breakable wall. Some loot. Once these stones disappear, pack our final wooden goose. Or I should say our final named wooden goose. We'll jump back over here to the center and look for the exit. First, let's take a look at our goose collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 wooden geese. And our exit is a ramp up and out of the room. There are no more enemies in this cave. We do find another breakable wall next to a drawing of a goose. This is evidently Mrs. Goose's workshop. There are a bunch of unfinished, unnamed wooden geese and a slate that says, "Don't touch my geese." Marks on the wall tell us there are 8 geese, so we can stop looking, and that's the list we have on the right. Now, as of this video, I don't know what we can do with these geese. So I'm going to collect them and all the unnamed geese and this musical instrument, this startar. We'll get out of the cave. Conveniently for us, this entire path leads all the way back around and drops us out right above the first room where we entered the cave. So we will leave the cave through the same door we entered. And we're back out on the outskirts of Dazra. I will fast travel back to the ship. And off camera, I will do a little bit of furnishing work in the ship. Set up a place to display all these geese, because I have nothing better to do with them. And then we'll walk past them. We'll walk through my armory / workshop first. Drop down to the level below, into an unfinished tab I use for display purposes. And there are the 8 geese. But to be honest, at this point in time, I really don't know what these geese are for. I've just collected them and put them on display. If you have an idea what they're for, please leave a comment below and share it. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Remember, weaknesses are just strengths in the wrong environment. All you need is a plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and get notifications. This is Kinnear, and I'm out of here.